Your cat inhabits a silent world of signals, a world where the slightest twitch of an ear can be a shout, and a change in grooming habits can be a scream. As humans, we exist in a sea of noise and overt expression. We see a cat sleeping peacefully in a sunbeam, and we project our own sense of tranquility onto them. But are we missing the signs of a silent storm raging within? The language of feline anxiety isn't spoken in words. It's written on the body, in behavior, and in the very chemistry of their system. To be an effective caregiver, one must become a master decoder. Cats, as solitary survivors and prey animals, possess a deeply ingrained evolutionary imperative to mask any sign of weakness or distress. An anxious cat is a vulnerable cat, and vulnerability in the wild is a death sentence. Their symptoms are therefore subtle, often paradoxical, and easily misinterpreted as simple, bad behavior. Today, we will pull back the curtain on this silent world. We will analyze the 10 key indicators of feline anxiety, not as a simple checklist, but as a diagnostic framework for understanding the stressed feline mind. 1. The environmental signal, inappropriate elimination. This is arguably the most common and most misunderstood sign of feline stress. When a cat begins to urinate or defecate outside of its designated litter box, it is not an act of spite or rebellion. It is a desperate signal. This behavior, clinically known as periuria, can have two primary stress-related origins. First, it can be a form of self-soothing through scent marking by depositing their own urine, which contains unique chemical pheromones, in a location that smells strongly of their trusted human, such as a bed or a pile of laundry. They are attempting to mingle their scent with a scent they associate with security. They are creating a scent soaker, an olfactory shield against anxiety. Second, this can be a primary symptom of a group of conditions now termed Pandora syndrome or feline idiopathic cystitis, where stress directly causes painful bladder inflammation, which we will dissect in more detail later. The cat associates the litter box with pain and desperately seeks other, softer locations to relieve itself. 2. The gut-brain axis, gastrointestinal upset. The connection between the brain and the digestive system is a powerful bidirectional highway. In a state of chronic stress, the feline brain releases hormones like cortisol and catecholamines, which have a direct and disruptive impact on the gastrointestinal tract. This is not a vague theory, it is a physiological fact. This disruption can manifest in several ways. It can cause a change in gut motility, leading to bouts of diarrhea as transit time speeds up, or constipation as it slows down. It can increase gastric acid, leading to vomiting. It can also alter the delicate gut microbiome, leading to inflammation and discomfort. If your cat is experiencing recurring GI issues that cannot be attributed to diet or a specific pathogen, a thorough investigation into environmental stressors is a critical and necessary diagnostic step. Number 3, the compulsive coping mechanism, over-grooming. Grooming is a natural, comforting behavior for a cat. However, when placed under chronic stress, this behavior can become compulsive and pathological. The repetitive motion of licking releases endorphins, which are natural opioids that have a calming, pleasurable effect. The stressed cat essentially learns to self-medicate with its own brain chemistry. This leads to a condition known as psychogenic alopecia. You will notice the cat focusing obsessively on specific, easily accessible areas, typically the belly, inner thighs, and front legs. The result is symmetrical hair thinning or complete batch patches, often with irritated or broken skin. This is not an allergic reaction. It is the physical evidence of a psychological wound. The cat is literally trying to lick its anxiety away. Number 4,
a duality of interaction, clinginess and withdrawal. Stress can dramatically alter a cat's social behavior, but it often pushes them to one of two logical extremes. One cat, feeling insecure, may develop hyper-attachment to its owner. This manifests as extreme, almost frantic clinginess, constantly needing to be in physical contact, following you from room to room, and becoming distressed when you are inaccessible. This is an attempt to use the owner as a living security blanket. Conversely, another cat's response to the very same stressor might be to withdraw completely. It will hide under furniture, retreat to the back of a closet, and cease its normal social interactions. This is the prey animal's instinct to become invisible when feeling threatened and vulnerable. Both behaviors, though polar opposites, stem from the same root cause, a profound sense of insecurity in their own environment.
5. The Sentinel state, hypervigilance. A stressed cat's nervous system is in a constant state of high alert. This is hypervigilance. They are unable to fully relax, perpetually scanning their environment for potential threats. Their physiology provides clear, technical indicators of this state. Look for dilated pupils in normal lighting conditions, a low crouch or slinking posture as they move through open spaces, and an exaggerated startle response to normal household sounds. Their ears will be constantly swiveling, and their whiskers may be pushed forward, gathering sensory information. This is not a cat that is on edge. This is a cat whose sympathetic nervous system is stuck in the on position, flooding its body with stress hormones and preventing the restorative state of rest. 6. A shift in a silent language, altered vocalization. For a creature that communicates so much through nonverbal means, a change in vocalization is a significant data point. This isn't necessarily about an increase in the volume of meowing, but a change in the character and context of their calls. A stressed cat may develop a low-pitched, guttural, mournful yowl, often occurring at night. This can be a symptom of the disorientation associated with anxiety or cognitive dysfunction. This is a very different sound from the standard "I'm hungry" meow. It is a haunting, plaintive call that indicates deep-seated distress. Documenting the type of sound and the time of day it occurs is valuable information for your veterinarian. 7. The anxious architect, destructive behavior. Destructive scratching or chewing that is out of character for your cat is often a displacement behavior, a physical outlet for internal anxiety. While normal scratching is for scent marking and claw maintenance, stress scratching is often more frantic and directed at significant locations. Pay close attention to where the destruction is focused. Scratching or chewing at door frames and window sills is particularly telling. These are the entry and exit points of the territory. This behavior can be an expression of anxiety related to external threats, like neighborhood cats, or confinement anxiety. The cat is not being bad. It is physically engaging with the boundaries of its territory, a barrier that it perceives as either insecure or confining. 8. The body barometer, postural tension. Before any overt action, a cat's body broadcasts its anxiety through a series of subtle postural cues. Learning to read this body barometer allows for early intervention. An anxious cat will often exhibit a persistent low-level physical tension. Observe for a body held low to the ground. Watch the tail. A relaxed cat's tail is still or moves gently. An anxious cat's tail will often flick and twitch erratically at the tip. Look at the ears.
Airplane ears, held flat and out to the sides, are a classic indicator of fear and anxiety. Even the whiskers can be revealing. Pressed back against the face indicates fear or defensiveness. These are not isolated gestures. They are the persistent physical signature of a mind in turmoil. But while these signs are visible, the next is a hidden internal manifestation of stress that is intensely painful. 9. The invisible wound, feline idiopathic cystitis, or FIC. This is one of the most serious and direct physiological consequences of feline stress. Feline idiopathic cystitis, or FIC, is a condition where the bladder becomes severely inflamed, causing extreme pain, bloody urine, and frequent urgent urination, but with no identifiable bacterial or structural cause. Cutting-edge research has demonstrated a definitive link between the stress response system and the bladder wall. In susceptible cats, chronic stress leads to a complex cascade of neurohormonal changes that directly trigger this painful inflammation. An owner will see their cat straining to urinate, often outside the litter box, and assume a standard urinary tract infection. They may rush to the vet for antibiotics, which will ultimately fail because the enemy isn't bacteria. It's the cat's own internal stress response. Managing FIC, therefore, is fundamentally about managing the cat's environmental and psychological stress. Number 10, the primal indicator, appetite fluctuation. Appetite is a primal indicator of well-being. A cat will only willingly eat when it feels secure in its environment. Therefore, a sudden loss of appetite, or anorexia, is a significant red flag for high levels of stress. The release of stress hormones can directly suppress feelings of hunger. This is a survival mechanism. An anxious animal needs to be vigilant, not focused on a food ball. Any significant unexplained decrease in food consumption warrants an immediate investigation into both medical and environmental causes. While less common, some cats may engage in stress-induced overeating, but a loss of interest in food is a far more common and concerning indicator of acute or chronic anxiety. These 10 signs are the vocabulary of a language we must learn to speak. They are not quirks, annoyances, or acts of defiance. They are data points. They are distress signals from a finely tuned survivor that is struggling to cope with its modern domestic world. By trading our assumptions for analytical observation, we elevate our role from owner to empathetic caregiver. We become the decoders, the listeners, and the essential source of security our cats so desperately need in their silent world.